And this is the writer of Red Velvet,
Joe Moe.
Joe Moe.
Yeah.
Joe, how did you come up with the concept for the movie Red Velvet? And actually, could you give a brief synopsis to the viewers that haven't actually heard of the film just yet?
Okay. Red Velvet is a horror film made for horror fans by horror fans. That's us. We've been around the genre a long time. I'm really close with Forrest Ackerman. I sort of look after him and he looks after me for the past decade. So we're immersed in the horror genre, and we decided we'd finally take our chance to make our own movie, and what it should be is it should be a deconstructed slasher movie. And to us that means it's sort of an alternative to torture porn. It's still got all the horror hits in it, but we tried to push a little further into the world of the surreal and make it sort of an art horror romantic movie. And it ended up being pretty funny too, so without sounding like I'm trying to squeeze everything in every genre into a box, it's got a lot of great elements. But I inherited the script from a very talented young writer named Tony Burns, who had written a pretty straight-ahead horror movie about a strange fellow who meets this beautiful girl in a laundromat, sort of gets into this cat-and-mouse seduction with her, ends up telling her stories that we actually see take place on the screen, and little by little she starts participating in the stories. Ultimately, he ends up telling a story of a party that she missed over the weekend where all her friends are at, and he starts describing how each of her friends are murdered. So by the time we get to the end of the movie, we don't know what's real and what's fantasy. So that's the basic premise of the movie. The innovation of the movie is that we've taken the slasher genre and we've kind of tried to turn it on its ears. We've tried to take, hit all of the things you'd expect in creative kills and things like that. But when it comes to gore, it's very, very fantastical, almost like Dario Argento meets Wizard of Oz. The film is shot in Super 35mm, so it's gloriously old-fashioned, big pictures. The design of the costume sets, movie stars, are to sort of portray that really great noir look of glamorized, super theatrical pictures that I grew up watching, and that I know my brothers and sisters of this new generation of horror are really, really going to enjoy, but it's going to be almost something foreign to them because the days of MTV frenetic editing and everything have come. So we're a throwback movie. First movie, so we said to ourselves, let's put everything we've always wanted to see in a horror movie and let's take out everything we can't stand. So hopefully the only cliches you'll see are ones that we bust up on purpose. Our performances are fantastic. We've got Henry Thomas, who's grown up quite a bit since E.T. when he was little Elliot. You've seen it in a million things, but in this movie he really, really sort of departed from everything he's done to play this very complicated, strange guy. In the movie, you meet the characters as they meet each other, so there's not a lot of backstory. You have to sort of come along with us and find out about them, what they decide to tell each other. So there's that element of the movie too. The female lead is Kelly Garner, who's, I think of her as our little up-and-coming Scarlett Johansson. She's absolutely spectacular on film. When she's on the screen, you're riveted, and she's really inspired. Working with her was incredible. She's one of those people, if you don't quite understand what a movie star is, which I didn't, this is my first feature that I've been so involved in, when you see somebody perform and just blow up the movie with their glamour and their intensity and everything, you kind of realize that's what it's all about, and she's definitely a movie star. Henry Thomas has really cultivated his incredible intensity and intelligence over so many years of working, and Kelly is sort of a young maverick of an actress who just gets in there, tries everything, experiments, does things differently each time, and they're just incredible. We were so lucky to have had this amazing cast to work with in our first, feature.
For the people that have not seen the movie yet, because it hasn't actually hit out to DVD yet, or the people that are going to see the movie, there's a very interesting, you can tell from the left and right of the writer that they've got this very interesting I guess, killer villain in this one.
We call him the Maniac. We'll probably take submissions for names. So if you have any names for our guy, but I'll describe where he came from. In our company, we're completely collaborative. That means everybody has an opinion. All ideas are valid. We never argue about concepts. If somebody says, well, why don't we have them have this or that, we never say, oh no, that can't happen. We put all of our ideas on paper, or we actually realize all our ideas, throw them on the table, and whatever rises to the top we use. There's not a lot of ego in our process. basically we decided when I was doing my pass on the script that I wanted the Maniac to be something that was almost familiar and comforting, yet twisted in a way that made it mysterious. The original concept was, I said to my art team, was, what if somebody took something as familiar as Mickey Mouse ears and pulled a nylon stocking over them? And we said, yeah, but we can't do that because we can't afford to fight Disney in court. So we started doing this really strange, almost surrealist character with a telephone and different household objects on his face with a stocking pulled over it. And it was really cool looking, but it didn't have a focus. Finally, we started arriving at the shape under the nylon. And I went to one of our executive producers, who happens to be, who was 18 at the time, and I said, "You're our demographic. If you were this maniac, what would you insist on as part of your costume?" And he said, "Music." So we immediately started thinking about speakers, and that's how the speakers on top of the head evolved. And the minute we came up with those, we realized he can play his own theme music when he's coming after you. He can play the voices of the last victim. He can play, all kinds of misdirecting sounds and things like that. So we had a lot of fun with that. And this Polaroid was an idea I had. I thought, at first I was thinking about a mirror, and then I thought, well, a Polaroid's kind of a piece of technology that is a little more cinematic, because it makes noise and it has movement. And I thought, what's creepier than seeing your own terrified face, in front of you as the last thing you see? So that's how the Polaroid developed. The LED smile was something we wanted to push to see how we could take something that would be conceptually cute and turn it into something to be terrifying if you saw it coming after you in the pitch blackness. And basically, the way I describe it is, we tried to make something that if Bill Gates and Salvador Dali got together to make a creature, this is sort of what we think would come up with. Something functional, high-tech maybe, but also really, really bizarre and creepy. So that's the basic concept behind the Maniac.